Okay, I think everything's working. Yeah, it seems to be. I think that's slightly better. Right. More stuff. More miscellaneous stuff. Because dealt with the silicone on those yesterday, so I can wax and plaster on top of those. This I need to carefully try and stick some mold release on. And then I'll be able to do the first lot of silicone on that. I've got I ended up sanding that whole necklace yesterday. There are some spots I've missed with primer. I don't think it's actually going to matter because it's wood. Just it likes to be painted. So I'm probably not going to bother touching that up particularly. And then I fix that corner on the other armor panel. And then I think that's pretty much all of it. I'm in a respirator because if I'm doing plaster, it's dust. So I ain't messing around. Not at this point. Okay, right. Let me mix some plaster, I guess. And then make sure I've got a space free to put these when I'm done. I'm learning. Taken me this whole time. But I'm slowly learning. Right. Space cleared. Plaster. Did I shake the camera? Probably. Right. Need to get the plaster on these so that it can be doing its thing. God, my fingers are absolutely shot to shit. I really, really did a number on them yesterday. Because I was like holding individual beads and sanding them by hand. And then I was putting a bunch of eyelets into a corset and also stitching a lot of stuff by hand through fake leather. So the ends of my fingers, ooh, they ouchy. Right. I'll put some water in this first, I think. Kind of want to keep it over here somewhere, actually. For the sake of ease, I'm just running out of space. Not that that's particularly surprising, I suppose. There's my mixie stick. Usually in there. Hmm. No, I've got other options. Odd. I'm sure I'll find it at some point. I need to tidy everything up again. It's all kind of scattered. But it is getting to the point now where I'm just kind of like, tidying up. It's a nice idea, but priorities. There's been a lot of that recently. The closer deadlines get, the more goblin I become. And I started off pretty goblin, pretty baseline goblin. So this is, going to be a little noticeable. I'm sure it'll be fine. Things have a weird way of just working. I don't know why, but I've always had this thing. Like, everything happens to work exactly to the wire. I don't know why. Like, this whole project, don't get me wrong, the whole way through, I've been thinking to myself, there's a chance this might be the first one I don't finish. As things stand, I believe that I will finish everything. I'm just not entirely sure how close to the deadline I'm going to end up getting. What's today? 30th. Yeah. My original aim was to get, like, the bulk of the stuff done by the end of September, which I basically have. In my defense, I've basically managed that. I do want to try and show some of it on stream at some point. At the minute, I've been working on a lot of it, so it's indoors. And I think what else I got to do today. I'll try and do some weathering actually. I'll have to see what I can set up. Fairness, I can probably weather the corset in here. I can't use the same methods that I did for the fabric. Because with the fabric, I had a spray bottle, and it was filled with paint and water, and I just kind of went a little bit ham with it. It's worked really well, I was surprised. And then I'm gonna try and figure out how airbrushing works, and go over the seams as well, because that looks real good. It's like, yeah, I could dry brush it, but then it's gonna take longer. And I don't have time. And if I have the equipment, I should just use the equipment. The reason I purchased it in the first place. So, plus, I need to get used to how it all works because I still want to airbrush in muscle definition on the 3D, 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 stuff that I'm wearing under the tunic. Because it'll look really cool if I do. So, I'll just get Boris to wear it. Not a lot of it shows anyway, but I remain a perfectionist, so I want to do it anyway. Especially on the legs, because you can see a fair bit on the legs. Just kind of, emphasize how jacked my thighs are. That's always fun. So in fairness, they're not as jacked as they were, because, like, I've had time for the gym. I wish I had time for the gym. Right, let me mix some more stuff. Probably try and get a bunch of this out first. Not sure if it's going to matter or not. I also want to try and see if I can set something up on the stream that, like, connects to my Spotify to show people what I'm listening to without actually playing it. Is that legal? I want that to be legal. So I want to be able to share stuff, you know? It's fun. I like sharing things. And then everyone gets an idea of what I'm actually listening to. And how ridiculous my playlists are. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing that I can do. Maybe it isn't. I'll look into it. At least my intent currently is to look into it. Whether I do or not remains to be seen. I honestly can't guarantee anything at this point. Particularly not at the minute, because there's a fair amount of panic setting in. I do have other priorities, I suppose. I'm just clearing out this thing as much as I can before I use it again, so bear with me. I suppose as much as I can be bothered to. Not the end of the world. That's probably fine. I mean, it's probably fine before, but whatever. I'll roll with that. I knew that was going to happen. What else have I got to do? I didn't bring my lists out with me. I'm a fool. Pretty sure I can remember it though. So I've got to do the jackets for these two. To try and demold a piece that is very stuck. That might end up being a Dremel thing. That remains to be seen. Right, learn from your past mistakes. There we go. Rather have too much than not enough. Also booked in to have my hair touched up a week beforehand, so that's exciting. Get the old man white properly back in. That was too much. Fine. I'll just have to fix it. That's probably going to be okay. By the time I've mixed it properly, it's probably fine. Probably good enough. I'm going to say that's fine. Do I have enough, though? Yeah, potentially not. I'll just do what I've got, and then when I inevitably need more, I'll deal with that then. The headbutting the lamp, but that's fine. It is the space thing. Yeah. Angles were always going to be awkward on this one. Not an awful lot I can do about it. I am periodically checking between tabs for chat stuff, but I still don't trust it. So, if a message crops up, I ought to get around to it eventually. That is the intent. I also ended up getting a bunch of new stream assets. So I need to try and implement any of those at some point. As per, it's on my to-do list. Just fairly low down at the minute. One of those I will eventually ramp up the vague professionalism. As things stand, I gotta get this out of the way first. But it is getting to the point now where I can kind of see things coming together. And because I've been doing everything alongside, it's been kind of surreal. Because I've gone from like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still panicking. But I've gone from like really panicking to, oh, suddenly this is done, and oh, suddenly that is done. And it's been kind of an experience. Uh, Maybe by the time I've mixed stuff. Yeah, probably. Let me try and scrape off a bunch of this first. And then I'm going to do the glue layer as per. So getting in and around those mold keys is a whole thing. It's so funny. Anytime I'm even vaguely close to finishing a major project, my brain jumps to thinking, okay, cool, what next? It's so bad, but it's just so typical. And this morning I was thinking, like, the main reason I picked Fierce Deity was because my hair is white. Like, that was the primary reason. The fact that I'd wanted to for years was also a significant factor, but the reason I finally took the plunge was because my hair is white. So I was thinking, okay, what other white-haired characters can I do? And I had the most terrible idea. And I say terrible because it's something that I know myself and I'm going to make really difficult. So if there are any Metal Gear fans, you can probably guess where I'm going with this. But as an edgy teen, one of my favourite games was Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. And since my hair is white, I'm leaning toward maybe my next project is full-on cyborg Raiden. Maybe I do that. But I'm going to stress that I don't intend for that to be like another year-long project and then, oh cool, I'll compete again at MCM. No. No, I have other things that I'm going to need to focus on. So it's not going to be like, I mean, it's probably, I don't know. It's probably going to be the next major cosplay project, but I'm going to have a load of other stuff that I'll be doing before that, frankly. I have things I need to focus on, and I will do that. And then when I get the ability to be insane, sure. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Alright. Let me mix up some more stuff. So yeah, that was my brain this morning. Just thinking about having booked in to get my hair done. I was just hit with the ooh, but what if? And realistically, you know, it's absurd that I would be thinking about these things right now, but it's also a good sign, because that typically comes at the end of a project. So I feel a little reassured. Because I wouldn't even be going there if I was completely in the weeds. And I started thinking about the logistics of it and what I'd like to do with it. And I've got a rough idea as to how I'd like to approach it. In very general terms. But also, I need to not even. Not yet. Good grief. I've got way too much to be contending with outside of all that. So, yeah. Once, uh, once MCM's out the way, it's going to be go time as far as being vaguely professional with various. Because, you know, jobs and stuff. I've just not had the time to look into anything. But once this is done, I certainly can. And I'll have a very nice showpiece. Hoping I'm mixing enough here to do both of these. That was the intent. So, gonna flip the plaster on myself. And I'm sure that's fine. I've still got that t-shirt that I was wearing the whole time I was wrapping myself in plaster. I need to clean it. It's just flung across Boris's legs behind me. Honestly, if you're not used to this stuff, this whole scene is menacing. It's funny the things you get used to. Like, I do forget that a lot of what I get up to is not standard. Because for me, it just always has been, you know? Like, for me, this is all normal. It's only really when mates come over and they go, oh, that's interesting. But even then, like, they're pretty used to me. I think I can get away with a little bit more. Okay. I think that's the full extent. Yeah, that's pretty decent. This is the one I started with. I kind of want to go back to this one first. Kind of mostly going to focus where the mold keys are. Because a lot of this is going to be fine. Only really any bits I can see that look a little bit sketch. Alright. Gonna slap a bunch on here. Then once I've done this, I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. And then return. Edges are a little bit sketched, so I'll do those. I think that's better. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So, I am going to BRB real quick, and then when I come back, I'll do more miscellaneous stuff. So, yeah, give me a bit. Sorry, I was gone for ages. I realised my respirator, it fits, but I could feel air leaking. So I went and shaved, and that has fixed it. So I don't really want to be dealing with chemicals the whole time it's not working as it should. And that's probably going to be the next step, to be honest. I'll leave these somewhere else. I've cleared a little space for them, they'll be fine. Right. Then... I'm going to need to find... Actually... maybe I can do it on the same board. I'm going to run out of boards otherwise. What's going to be the most sensible thing here? Maybe I can take... Oh yeah, okay, I can take this one off here. Yeah, that's easy. Alright. And that frees me up a board. I'm going to need it. I'm going to be dumping silicone on this. So that's fine. Yeah, there are undercuts, but I'm really not that worried. The thing I can tidy retroactively. So, with that in mind, let's do some stuff. Now I'm going to be cycling between things again, because I'm going to have to leave it for a bit before I can do PVA mold release. So I'll start with this one. I've got the brush I've been using for that. I'm going to be a little bit careful, because I don't know how well this is stuck to this. Hopefully, pretty well. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't really want to mess any of it up. Not really. I'm probably gonna go around this. And then very gingerly look at that central bit. I don't want to knock anything, because that's going to be annoying. Feels reasonably secure, so I'm going to lightly get some of that. That's better than nothing. I'm probably mostly going to look at dealing with that with the PVA, because it's liquid and I don't have to upset anything particularly. probably how I'm going to play the rest of that, to be honest. So I'm going to say that's fine enough. And what is the time now? It is, we'll call it 50 because it's easier. 2:50. So if I leave it till just gone 3, then I can do the PVA and that'll be fine. What can I get on with in the meantime? I mean, my gloves are kind of waxy, so I'm going to change those. I don't really want to be getting wax on anything. Not really. Having gloves on stops my hands drying out, so I shall replace them. So I've got a couple of options here. I can look at putting a base coat on those beads, or I can look at trying to weather the corset. I think base coat the beads is more sensible, because if I'm going to deal with fabric, I kind of want to change all of this, because it's a disgusting mess. Ah, bot stuff, lame-o. Oh well. Yeah, I kind of want to base coat these, or at least attempt to. So, what are my options? Because I feel like the blue I want to use, I actually ended up taking indoors because I'm an idiot. Maybe. Well, what do my references look like? In fairness, this might be something that ends up taking longer than intended anyway. Let me see what this looks like. It is just very blue. Okay. That's fine. I don't really want to have to mix stuff though. I kind of want to do it in relation to what I've already got. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to leave it because I think it'll be more sensible to do that in relation to the tunic and stuff. So, I can use this as a tablecloth. This is fine. At least then I can show off the corset, which is nice. So, it's this way around. Here is the corsety thing that I have made to go under the armor. Did all the eyelets yesterday. My hands, they hurt. But whatever. I've opted for a corset instead of doing like the abdominal plating, because objectively it's more interesting. I like it. It's cool. Yeah. So here is this. It's reasonably cool looking. I faffed with it. And yeah, I am the top stitch king. So will it even focus? Please focus. There we go. Yeah, I'm very proud of my stitching. But yeah, here is this. And having put all the time and effort into making this, I now need to find a means of messing it up. Because that's something that's always bothered me with cosplays, is a lot of them, focus, focus, please, focus. No, it's just refusing. Hello? I don't know why it's decided it's going to shit itself and die. I'm a professional. Focus, please. Down here. I'm just gonna ignore it. I can't fix it, whatever. Right. I can only apologize for sucking. But anyways, my point being, I need to scuff this up a bit. Um, so, the way I scuffed stuff up before was with paint. Probably going to be the same this time. Um, unless I use something else. I wonder... See, the danger is I don't want anything to rub off of this onto other stuff. So I'm kind of leaning toward paint being the thing, rather than much else. Because at least then it should stay put, in theory. Also wondering whether sandpaper is a thing that would be helpful. I'm not entirely sure. Let me test it back here because it matters less. I feel like it's just going to rub the texture off. Yeah, I think it does. Which is not what I want. Because it's fake leather, it's not actually going to weather nicely. It'll just take off the surface. And I need that. So I'm not going to do that. I have... I have a paint thing here. Yeah, this is pretty neat. I'm not going to use this as intended, because I need more paint than that. So I'll just use the bag. And then I'm going to have a little bit of brown acrylic. A little bit of black. And then probably a little bit of white as well. Dang, this is like a new tube. Holy crap. Oh no, I've used it before. Okay, fair enough. And then I'm going to mix it and see what happens. That is a nice colour. I like that. I just want to bring out some of the texture, you know? Usually, if it's on like actual fabric, you dilute it a whole bunch, and then it looks really good. Because this is plastic, I don't want to dilute it. So instead, I'm going to use it undiluted with a pastry brush and pray. Okay, now that does do bits. It's hard to see, but it is doing stuff. Basically dry brushing. That's exactly what it is. And this is my go-to for most things, to be honest. So, yeah, I'll just whack a bunch of this down. It kind of does show on camera, in fairness. I always start with darker and then get lighter later on. Also, as per, I am objectively making this up as I go along. So, don't take anything I say as gospel, because it so isn't. I'm just using stuff that I've done before and know to be remotely effective, which that is. Not a lot of that is going to show, so I'm not super worried about going toward that edge, because it shouldn't really be seen. The thing with dry brushing is you have to be obscenely patient. If you put too much paint on, you just get streaks, and that's no good. So I do have a streak right there. By the time it's done up, it shouldn't matter that much. But it's worth noting. Yeah, by the time I've faffed with this, I should be able to do some more my back panel. This is one of those things that is just a matter of patience. Patience building stuff up. Want to get more in those gaps in here. Better. Just kind of mutes everything. That's something I've always had a problem with like your standard off the shelf costume stuff. It's too perfect. It just doesn't look right. It's the same with this. Like, just objectively, it's too neat. It needs to be kind of screwy. I'd considered going over it with wood stain. Might still do that, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes, and if I am okay with this, then fine. If I decide I'm going to be a cretin, then also fine. I think my Fitbit is assuming I'm doing exercise again. I suppose kind of, but also not really. That's definitely too much. Back to that patience thing I was talking about, and how I so don't have it. It actually shows up reasonably well on camera. I'm surprised. Didn't think it would. Probably afford to be a little rougher with this than I'm being. I just always start tentative. Not a bad thing. But because this is basically plastic, it's going to be hard to pick out a lot of detail if I'm not being fairly heavy-handed. So I guess I can do that. It's too much. There's heavy-handed and there's reckless. Because I don't actually mind having the odd line here and there. That's not a bad thing. And this is really just the first pass. Pretty decent. I've still got more here. It's hard to tell whether I've done enough in places because of the lighting. If it were daylight, I'd have an easier time here. As it stands, not super sure. So maybe I'll just be a little heavier with it. Painting, I tend to reserve for doing in daylight for this exact reason. And also, when these things are being viewed, they are being viewed in typically daylight. So that's just my preferred. But also, if I have time to kill, kind of inclined to do something. I might still test the wood stain thing. I am intrigued. That's done something up there. That's nice. There's bits here and there. That's not bad. I think my problem is that I'm too subtle with these things. I should probably go heavier earlier on, but I'd rather build it. This then takes a lot longer. Seems pretty decent though. I don't object to this. Not the worst, but I'm definitely going to faff with it. Definitely leaning toward the wood stain idea. It might be a terrible plan. Who knows? I'm just curious to see what happens, really. Yeah, I quite like when there are random streaks. That looks pretty good. Oh, hey! Can't stay long. What am I making? I have a corset. You can kind of see. Wahaha. I'm just making it look a little bit scuffed. Looks good. Hope you have a good time. Don't forget to eat and drink. Yeah, yeah, I'll get around to that eventually. Hope you have a good time with your things and stuff. Is that a corset? Yes. Yes, it is. Going underneath my armor. Now I have to make it look kinda scuffed. No, go eat something. Look, I ate things fairly recently, so it's fine. Probably. Probably fine. Definitely had a drink fairly recently. I choose to believe this is fine. Within the last hour, drinking stuff? Yes, I think. I didn't check the time when I got a drink, but I'm pretty sure. That when I'm painting, I just kind of get lost in stuff. Wi-Fi is very bad, probably get going. Fair enough. See you around, you old bat. Yo, call me out like that. Savage. But you go have fun. I will be here also having fun, but in a slightly masochistic sort of way. I'm sure I'll catch you around at some point. At least I was able to see chat this time. That's a plus. Automatically doing better than last time. Go have fun with friends later. I'm sure they'd like it. But it's a weekday. Everyone's at work, including me, to be fair. Just work is different these days. So I'll catch up with friends eventually. I suppose there are a couple of them I could message. Yeah, I have weird patterns. So, you know, the times that other people are around, I'll probably be in bed because, the sleep pattern of a toddler thing. I honestly never expect any of my friends to be around when I am. except for weekends. I try and make time on weekends, because then it's like, you know, most people tend to be kicking about on a weekend. That's when they're more likely to be around. So I do try and make time for things. Take Nan out for a coffee or something. Not a bad shout. To be fair, Nan and I have been hanging out a lot the last few days. Because, not to bring the mood down, but my granddad is in hospital at the minute. So, where I'd usually be doing stuff kind of off on my own somewhere, I've been trying to hang around a bit more. She gets up around this time. Yeah, she does. She does. We've been spending a few mornings just kind of chilling. I suppose I've been trying to chill with her rather than my usual. That's alright. He should be fine. It's just been a bit of a weird one. He's basically had this ear infection for a very long time, and it's now gone into the bone, and he has to be on like antibiotic drips. So that's been kind of rough, and apparently he has to have it for another 6 weeks. So we're kind of like, when is he coming home then? We're just kind of waiting to hear what's going on, really. He's mostly just kind of lonely at this point, which is completely fair. She's a vampire too. Yes, yes. I definitely get it from Nan. Is he going to be okay? He should be. We're we're expecting he'll be okay. Um, I choose to believe he'll be okay. Um, we're basically just waiting for the hospital to organise, because he has to have these antibiotic infusions 3 times a day. We're waiting for the hospital to organise people to visit him at home to do that. So he's got a line plumbed into his arm that goes into his chest. And I have to. You got to get professionals to deal with that kind of stuff. Like I don't want to have to deal with that. Too much pressure. Nuts. So they're trying to organise people at the minute, but we're not quite sure how long that's going to take. And as I say, he's mostly just kind of bored and lonely at the minute, which is fair enough. Makes sense, yeah. And it sucks because he's not as technologically advanced as my nan is. So he's got an old flip phone, and it's a pay-as-you-go thing because he never used it. But now he's kind of rationing out his phone calls because he's not got a lot of credit left on there. And then, that just makes him even more isolated. So, my nan's been going up to see him periodically with my cousins. So, he's had visitors, but it still sucks. And I imagine he's very bored at this point. That's a lot. Hopefully it'll clear up soon. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much just kind of waiting to see what each day brings. I said to my nan yesterday, I'm hoping that he gets to come home today. That's my prediction, but it still depends if they can organise people for home visits, because, 3 times a day, that's a lot of home visits. But also 6 weeks, that's a long time. So there's no way he's going to contend with being in hospital for that long. And the hospital wants to get the bed back, so, it would work for all of us if he could just come home. That's the hope. Trouble is that he's an absolute menace. And while he's got this tube in him, he's not supposed to be doing things. But I'd already warned Manan and said we have to hide various things from him because he will find stuff to do. He's not meant to lift anything, and he's not meant to overexert himself particularly. So we're going to have to babysit him pretty heavily because he will get himself in trouble. He's just like that. And, being in hospital for, geez, how long has he been there now? Almost a week, I think, which is horrendous. Because we initially thought it was just going to be an overnight thing, and then it just kind of kept dragging on. So yeah, we'll just have to see, basically. Just see what each day brings, and keep hoping that he'll be back soon. Yeah, well, my aunt got him a car magazine while they were at the hospital, and then he phoned my nan yesterday to talk, and he was talking to us about electric cars. So that's pretty standard behavior. So he must be okay enough. You know, nothing about any test results, but electric cars. Oh yeah, no, he'd happily tell us about that. So typical. But he doesn't. He doesn't really read particularly. You know, doesn't really have anything that can keep him occupied. That's the trouble. It's like if I were in his position, at least I could have the Switch or something. Play some Zelda to stop myself going nuts. But he just kind of doesn't really have anything, which doesn't help. So he's fine, but he's definitely feeling pretty pretty down, pretty lonely. All the nurses seem to love him, which doesn't surprise me at all. He's a very social person. Hope that works out all good. Thanks. Praying for your family. Thank you. Glad you was able to have some entertainment. Yeah. No. Just something to keep him occupied, because he gets very bored. we'll see. We'll see what today brings. Hopefully, we can go pick him up. I mean, the thing with him is he's just as likely to be told he can go home, arrange a taxi, and show up without telling us. That's very him. So we really don't know. Hopefully, he'll keep us posted rather than being his usual brand of reckless. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, no, he's a menace. He's done it before. He's gone up A&E, and then he's rocked up at the front door and said, I got tired of waiting, so I got a taxi and came home. Right, okay, great. That doesn't fix anything, does it? That was back when he had a hematoma on his leg. He'd fallen over and he had this massive, like, lump on his leg that was black. So we'd sent him to hospital, and then he decided he'd excuse himself. So that's been on my mind as well. My nan reckons he wouldn't do that this time because it's way too serious. I hope that's true. Because I'm concerned that if he decides he's had enough, I don't know. I think there comes a point where you can't do that, depending on what you're in for. So there'll be some sort of safeguarding responsibility, I'd imagine, now that he's been booked in and everything. So I don't think he can just escape. But it wouldn't surprise me if he tried. Yeah, he is a madman. Sorry, gotta go. Think you get along with him. Yes, everyone does. Everyone does. It's impossible not to get on with him. Genuinely. But please, by all means, go do whatever you gotta go do. Nice chatting, as always. I'll be here for a little bit. See you later, nice chatting. Yeah, always. Have a good one. You know where to find me. Probably. I'll probably still be doing this same time tomorrow. I intend to be. I don't really have the time not to be honest. See you, Nan and Granddad, I say hi. I will do. I will do exactly that. I need to get Nan back on stream at some point. Once she gets going, she is hilarious. I keep telling her she could be an online sensation. She's got the charisma. That's better. Kinda got a bit more going on this now. I'm still debating whether I put any actual patterns on this. I might. I might. And then I'm going to go over the seams as well. That always looks cool. Alright. Hard to tell the difference. I'm going to hold it up out of the light and have a look. Okay. Better than it was, definitely. Still want to add a little bit more in a couple of places. And then I'll look at the seams. Getting there. Better, closer, warmer. Alright, before this dries out, I kind of want to go into the seams specifically. Is that going to be thin enough? Do I have anything thinner out here? Ah, I do. Excellent. It's probably going to be perfect, actually. Yeah, that'll work. I'm going to go in to every seam. Yes, that's much better. Okay. some of this. I hope that translates on camera how much better that is. It might not. Alright. I'm just going to keep doing that for a while, because this is going to dry out. So, not sure I'm going to be able to get in to do these ones, though. Might have to take the L on those. Probably going to be tricky. I'll do this front one as well. Then I'll decide whether I try and faff with any of the other bits. I might. That's better. And I do want to go in the other seams, though. Whether I can manage that or not. And that cup of water is going to be dangerous. I'm going to move it. Now, can I get into these bits? I feel like I can try. Not the worst, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Let's scrape some of the dry bits off of this, though. Yeah. Definitely prefer having those darker seams. Definitely do. That's not bad. I quite like it being a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's a lot better. mute everything. Then I've got quite a lot of paint that I've just not used, so I think about other places that would be appropriate to have this, probably along the bottom edge, right? I feel like I can do that. I can justify doing that. Maybe I won't bother with the wood stain idea. I actually might not need to. It might be an unnecessary risk. That seems pretty okay. Then I think I might tap with the bottom edge as well while I'm here. That's better. Might do the front edge as well. Try and be vaguely careful with it. famous last words, but I'll try. Do the other front edge, and then I'm thinking maybe I do the stitching lines the whole way round. Maybe. It looks nice having everything kind of emphasized. That's better. And I'm still debating, do I faff with these seams? Because I don't really want to add too many extra lines, that's the thing. Like, if I am to do these bits, it'd have to be a lot lighter. I don't have too many lines, so I might not. Maybe I'll do the top line as well, and then call it there. That might be the best way of approaching this. Because I think the trouble is that if I've got a lot of paint, then I look at it like, okay, well, what else can I do? And it gets dangerous. But maybe I go around the eyelets. That seems sensible. Yeah, that looks alright. Go around the eyelets. And kind of smoke it out as well. It's not just a ring. gonna have to weather the ties that I have for this as well. It's gonna look weird if they're pristine. I'm hoping that's gonna be easier because they're fabric. This was always gonna be trickier because it is just plastic. If it were actual leather, it would be a lot easier. But also, real leather is expensive. So, no. I think I've got quite a few parcels due today. I need to remember a lot of materials. A lot of sword materials, basically. That needs to be darker. It's better. That's a lot better. Yeah, I like that. And I should probably quit while I'm ahead after that point. I'm still thinking about that top edge. It also helps mute the eyelets a bit. So I did deliberately get black eyelets. Well, they said they were black. They're more gunmetal, I'd say. I want everything to be nice and dusty, really. This is why I get through so many paintbrushes, because I absolutely ruin them. Seems pretty decent, really. That top edge is jarring though. Jarring because it's too clean. So I'm going to go over that top edge. I was debating it, but I'm gonna. Can I fix this brush at all before I try? Kind of. But also not really. So, oh well. Really try and be quicker with this. Because once this dries, I'm a little bit stuck. And really, the more I look at this, the more I kind of want to do this to all of the stitching. should be able to do the same for these. It hurts me back though, because I had not planned to do this. So I'm not really geared up for it. But oh well. I don't really want to wash any of the paint out of this, because then it makes it wet again. And that would be a problem. So I'm kind of just going to keep attempting to reshape the bristles as I go. Because they're pretty scuffed, courtesy of my antics. And I don't want to do these as dark as I've done, like, the main seams. So I'm not chucking paint on them. Definitely looks a lot better with it there. That silicone just scared me so bad. Jeez. That's better. I'm gonna be here for a while. The more I look at this, the more I think, okay, well, that's fine. Doesn't matter particularly. I just hadn't intended to do this. I keep feeling like I'm forgetting something. And at this stage, that's very bad. I think it's more like in relation to my calendar than to this. I don't know if that's better or worse. I feel like I've got something that I'm scheduled to do. Oh well, I'm sure that'll make itself known at some point today. It might just be the thing I've got on Friday. That might be it. And that's just going around a mate's place, so that's no biggie. His other half is out at a hen do, so he's invited all the lads over to paint minis, which is amazing. So I am so in. He bought a little pack off Amazon, and I've been taking all the mold lines off, and I just got to spray prime everything, and then I can deliver everyone their choice of mini, and we can all paint them together, and it should be a really good laugh. That's a nice thing, so I don't know why I'm sweating over that. I don't know, maybe just because it's one of those, oh, I've got a thing I'm supposed to be doing. Any obligation is sweat inducing at this point. Even the fun stuff. Funny how this was supposed to be a temporary thing that I could do intermittently whilst waiting for mold release to dry. But no, I am now stuck here. That's so me. Alright, well, I'm making progress. I just finished all the top stitching, and then I can actually get on with some other stuff. I don't want the paint to dry out before I've used it. the crux of it. I keep debating making my own wet palette. It's not really applicable in this instance, because I'm painting onto plastic, so if I water it down, it's going to do me no favours. I definitely will need to fix this brush when I'm done. It's a nice brush, I'm just ruining it. I don't remember whether I got pictures of this before I scuffed it up, but I'm pretty sure I have. I know I took a bunch yesterday as I was working on it. Alright. Play it like that. That's the other thing about painting onto what is literally plastic with acrylics, is that as acrylics are drying, they get pretty sticky. And it's very easy to lift it off again. So you kind of just want to do one pass and walk away. You'll end up taking paint back off again. Yeah, could have used a thinner brush for these, but I didn't want to. Because then you don't get that weird kind of patchiness. Again, it ends up too neat. So I want to use a bigger brush, so that I have kind of staggered patches. It looks a lot better than a solid line. Like a solid line is fine for those seams, but for this, I want it to be spaced out. Okay, I've nearly done it. I've been in a respirator this whole time, because I was expecting to do silicone first. And then I got distracted, and now I'm here. But that's fine. What I think I'll do is finish up with this, stick the other mold release on the back panel, and then BRB for a bit. Go get a drink or whatever, or I'll get told off, which is fair. It is fair. And then come back and do the first silicone layer. And also paint the base blue on the necklace, because I can go indoors and get the actual tube of blue that I intend to use. I can actually ferry quite a few bits around. Alright. I'll do these last two. And then I'll BRB, grab a load of stuff, and jump between more things. Now, thinking about it, maybe what I'll do, I'll finish this, end this stream, because I'll have been going for 3 hours at this point. Go get something to eat and drink, kind of sort myself out a bit, and then come back to do more stuff. I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm not short on tasks. So I'll endeavour to do that. But also, I can't promise it because my track record is not great. But I need to be out here anyway to deal with the silicone, so hopefully hopefully I can actually stick to one of my plans this time. That would be nice. Because I say these things a lot, and I always mean them, and then something happens. That's just the way that is. So I've got no idea, to be honest. That's the intent. But yeah, I'll finish this up. I'll call this one here. Go actually get breakfast, etc. And then I ought to be back to faff about some more. Right. Let's see. That doesn't look too bad to me. Not too bad. It's going to be hard to know until I see it in daylight. That's the thing. I kind of want to have it a little streakier on this side to match this one. I wonder if I can do that. Just like it in other places. Let me see. That's better. Just so that it matches a little bit better with its opposite. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah. Alright, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. That is the weathering on this, which may be hard to discern. So I'm just gonna try and hold it closer to camera. Let me turn this light off. Does that help? What about if I turn this one off? What about if I turn this one off? Nah, now you just can't see anything. Okay. What about like that? You might just have to take my word for it, to be honest. It looks good in person. And it should look fine in daylight. So, yeah. I'm honestly going to roll with that for now. That seems pretty decent. So, yeah, I'm going to call it there for now. And my intent is to be back later with more things and stuff. So, you know, that's, that's the plan. I promise. I promise that's the plan. But we'll see how it goes. So hopefully, I will catch you guys later. Either way, I'll see you in a bit.